Okay, so we're gonna have another look at Serum and making leads with it. We've just done very basic stuff for now, a very basic sawtooth and basic FM. You could also use the sub oscillator as a FM source, which is a bit more practical and fast because you can just choose through these different waveforms and find the sound you want quite fast. Of course, there's more choice in using the oscillator B with all its varieties, But I do find some good results just by going straight to the sub on those basic shapes. So let's just check our sound again. So just by scanning through the FM amount, you find lots of different textures and also the wavetable position. But it's quite psytrancey. So let's just try making the sub oscillator. Turn the volume down, obviously, always for the second oscillator, and let's say from sub. So this this one seems to make, even though if it's the same octave, it seems to make a nice sound. That was quite similar to the other oscillator, but I really like this one. So that's kind of like a classic FM lead sound that you use a lot in Psytrance. This works well, like I said, with the Xenon style as certain notes being used at certain times. So not full leads playing all the time. You'd have a bit of this synth that we've made before going mixed with this quite harsh FM sound, for example. So we can tweak this synth for days and find different varieties, use different wavetables, get so many different textures out. Ideally, you want to choose something that's going to complement the rest of your track. And by muting, like we did with the previous one, the different synths, now we have another element in the track that's even a different texture and a different filter completely. So now we can start muting some of these notes on and off, or just deactivating the clips how we want in the sections that we feel it's needed. So also because this sound is a lot more harsh and more FM-y than the other sound, I would say bring it in later, bring a harsh and sort of crazy sounds through the midway through the track a bit later, because once you've gotten a certain depth or size or intensity with the sound, you can't backtrack and make something more intense. So if you throw your tricks out the bag first, then you've got no more tricks later. So just think about that as well. And that's kind of the problem with making, the start of your track straight away kick and bass and leads, because you make the best, gnarliest lead you can make. And then what do you do halfway through the track? Or what do you do, 2/3 in the track when you have to finish it? The track gets boring at 5 minutes, 4.5 minutes. A lot of tracks for me, I find, they start off amazing, come in with all, fireworks and stuff and extreme cinematic soundscapes, and then like halfway through the track, it's just a rehash of the same thing. And a lot of music I find is like that. But for me, I feel it's better if the track keeps building. So I do also used to run into that sort of dead spot, 3.5 minutes or so. But now, when I reach a dead spot, I know that I haven't used all my tricks. And from there I sort of rewrite a new track that's way more intense. So my track's peaking at 4.5 minutes, 5 minutes, and being intense from 5 minutes to 6.5, 7 minutes. So that's the style I like to do it. And also there's more time to mix as a DJ, you know. Okay, so we've tried both FM techniques coming from both synths. Now let's change up the waveforms. Let's see if we can get better results. I kind of want a more like mid-rangey lead that's quite crunchy but not too top end, because it's still early in the sound design. You know, we just made the beginning of the track progression, a basic progression, added some lead. There already was some atmos, and so now I don't want to go, you know, crazy with a really harsh synth or intense synth. I want to bring that later in to bring intensity. So I'm going to change this wavetable up a bit. Let's listen to what it sounded like before, like we had it. Yeah, it's totally, this is too gnarly and too hectic. So this massive wavetables, I think it's on a Native Instruments link or something website for free packs or something. You can get it for free. It's got some really nice shapes in here. Well, that's pretty basic looking, but they just sound nice compared to the other saw. That's got a bit more character, you know. It's like, others are just too scratchy. I want to play more mid-range though. Maybe it's the end. And it's clicking in. Yeah, that's quite nice. Sounds better to there. So the idea is to have a new sound we're introducing, to also show you the way I work with Serum. It's pretty basic really, but more with bringing in new texture. So this is a completely different filter. So we could try and just jam this sound or tweak it whilst it's playing over everything else, because it shouldn't really clash too much, although it's obviously some notes will clash. But because we're trying to go for a whole different texture, if we can get it to fit in the mix while we're playing with it better, then it will just work better generally and be less editing. So I think I already got that right now with the texture I was going for. Remember, I wanted to go for something more low rangey. So let's just check it with the whole track. Okay, so I've decided on a sound. Let's just check it out on a setting. So it's, yeah, so just play with the effects a bit, add some space to it. Okay, so we have a pan effect on it already. I'm trying to get it maybe softer, more texture, like less crunchy in the top. But idea is to mix it and tweak it so it sits in the track ready for you. Let's take that off. So now after some tweaking, I've made just 3 different versions of the Serum synth, all with some EQing and all with the same patch. Now I have 3 to choose from, so I'm going back to my old method of choosing between the different layers. I've got, for example, what I would do is put the wavetables together and the Serums together. It's just for editing, so it's easy. Make that wavetable yellow. And then I have all my synths leads in this one track, so I can now add the leads I made. They all work with the track anyway, already as they are. So it's quite squelchy, but it's got quite a bit of character. Blended nicely with the track. So you get the idea. Just by playing those different ones at different times, I get quite a lot of variation. So again, we can just do muting the tracks as we play it, or we can go edit it. So this is just different ways to create textures. In the Serum, I did add some onboard effects. I used the hyperdimension just for broadening and stuff. I do find that Serum has got a really great sound, but also sometimes it gets a bit lost in the mix. I don't know why. So I don't know, some people might argue with me about that, but I find if you use it raw, I get more juice out of it. If I add the effects and stuff, it sometimes works, but sometimes it can be a bit thin. So for foresty music and nighttime music and trance, that kind of works. But for the Xenonex, you want more full-bodied round stuff. So yeah, I often find myself just using the oscillators, maybe not even the filter, maybe using an external filter like an auto filter or something, just if I want something more meaty. So, but yeah, so I did some editing anyway, some EQ boosting at the bottom, taking the tops off, multi-band compression, a little bit of reverb. So this doesn't sound bad without it. It's quite a nice texture.